I'm going to talk about the biggest illusion in trading that every retail trader falls for. Imagine that you just passed your first 100k challenge and you're now funded 100k. This would be insane for most people. And you think that, okay, so let's say I just make 3% on one trade, that's 3k. That's insane, right? And maybe I get some more accounts and I make 6k, 9k, 30k, whatever. And it seems so simple. It seems so close that you can almost grab it. You can almost feel that you're making that kind of money anytime. And this happened to me some months ago. In 2024, I passed my first 100k challenge and I was fully funded with 100k. And I felt like I reached my goal, my end destination. I was like, now I've made it. I finally made it. And I just need to make 3% a month, and that's insane. But then my strategy stopped working. I passed all these accounts in 2024, and my strategy worked really well in 2024, and then it stopped working, and I had no strategy anymore, and I couldn't make profits. And think about other areas in life, music, movies, trends, whatever. They don't last forever. They're always changing. The dynamic is always changing. New technology is always arriving, and no one can sit on a specific business or products or services, music, movies, whatever, and think that they can just keep doing what you're doing and it will last in a long time, because it won't. It's always changing. Everything is changing. And if you're not changing as well, if you're not adapting, then it doesn't mean anything that you were the most popular artist in 2015. No one cares about you anymore. And it's the same in trading. You can have the best strategy in the world and it could work for a long time, but then it doesn't work and you can't make profits anymore and you're suddenly nothing, right? And why am I telling you this? Because I thought that I cracked the code, I had the best strategy, and this is going to work forever. But it didn't. I was so focused on passing challenges and making profits that I stopped learning. I didn't care about learning something new. I was just focusing on my strategy, only backtesting this strategy and only focusing on this. And then when it stopped working, when Trump changed the market, I couldn't make profits anymore. So I passed the 100k challenge, but it didn't make me rich. It didn't mean anything. I still have the challenge, but I haven't made profits with my old strategy anymore. I had to develop something new. And I see the previous version of me didn't know this. The previous version of me was like, I'm going to trade all alone. Trading is a lonely game. I don't need a mentor. I don't need anyone else. I'm just going to trade my own strategy and that's it. And it doesn't work that way. Trading isn't difficult in the way you think. And that's the funny part, because you who are watching this, you're probably sooner than you think going to develop a good strategy that's going to work for you. You're going to pass your first 100k challenge and you're going to get your first payouts, maybe 3 payouts, maybe 5 payouts. And let's say you get 3k at least per payout, then you made your first 10k, 15k, and it's going to feel surreal. And I want you to feel that. It was surreal for me too. But what happens after that? When your strategy suddenly doesn't work anymore and maybe you lose all your funding, right? How is that going to feel? You thought you're gonna just be a full-time trader now, right? Suddenly you're not. That's not a good feeling. That's not something you want. So how can we avoid this trap? Because trading isn't hard because of what you think. It's hard because of psychology, and it's hard because something like this could happen where you lose your edge. But developing your edge isn't that hard. Anyone can do that. You can develop your edge and make profits. But what I would tell the previous version of me, who was just passing the 100K challenge and was really excited and was like, now I'm gonna make a lot of money, I would tell myself, relax, find a mentor, reinvest some of that profits from the 100K challenge on someone who has been doing this for a long time, who can teach you something new, so that you're going from someone who just developed a strategy and your whole trading identity is based on that strategy to someone who can actually always adapt, always develop a new strategy easily. Maybe you have multiple strategies, you have several pairs you're trading, and you're someone who can handle anything in the market, changes, whatever, doesn't matter. Because if you have the right mentorship, if you know the right people, then you can always find something that works in the market. But if you're on this journey all by yourself, then the same thing that happened to me is going to happen to you. I was calling out bias on Euro USD today and yesterday, bullish bias. And the market went bullish every time. And most of the days when I call out my bias, it works. The market goes in the direction I anticipated. I didn't necessarily call out a setup. I didn't even trade those 2 days myself because I didn't see a good setup on the lower time frames, but my bias was correct. And that shows that I know the fundamentals, which I didn't know back in 2024 when I started out with prop firms. But if you know all these things, then you can always develop a strategy, you can always adapt. But if you just develop your strategy but you don't exactly know what drives the market, then you're just hoping that your strategy won't disappoint you, and as soon as it doesn't work, you don't have anything. If you want to join my Discord, I have a link in the description, and I'm calling out bias and also trades with entry, stop loss, and take profit. But my goal is again for you to develop your own strategy and to rely on yourself. And I also have one-on-one coaching where we could go over what you're trading and I could help you understand the market better. So again, try to stay in this game for a long time, build a community, get in touch with people, because it's not only what you know, it's more about who you know. Everyone in business that are really successful know the right people. They're not doing business by their own. They always know someone and they grow together and they're basically unstoppable. No one can stop them. But if you're doing all this alone, it's not that simple.